Like a lot of my family was pretty big into like, they were so big into like, don't go do that, it's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I know exactly
please
what you mean.
be careful. I started to go, no, damn it. I'm gonna fucking I'm gonna take it to the point of failure, then call someone once I've failed, you know, and then ask. Eventually you get to a point where like, I'm gonna go make something fucking happen that's horrible that I could use as fuel later, you know? Like there's something about choosing the struggle and fucking going like, I'm gonna go fucking annihilate myself out in the fucking woods. And I was like, man, like my soul, it was like the first time like it was like on fire. I was like, wow, this is so sick. I love this. This is amazing.
All right, welcome back to the Noble Lore Podcast. This episode of the Noble Lore Podcast is brought to you by Noble Lore. What do we do? We're the record labels of podcasting. You show up to us, and we grow your podcast, plain and simple. If you have a message that you want to get out to the world, or a brand, or a personality, we help you do that in long-form conversation. Noble Lore. We're also shooting here at Pop's Blue Moon on the Hill, one of the oldest consecutively run bars in St. Louis. Best dive bar here. Over 30% of the sales are alcohol. I don't know, what? Non-alcoholic? Over 30% of the sales are non-alcoholic? Don't even cut that. Leave that in. And what the fuck else was I gonna say? Code Noble in the description for 20% off any of the Mighty Kind brand drinks that we have. This show is sponsored also by Mighty Kind. I don't know if I did that in the right order, but fuck it, it's my show. Enjoy. 465 is your deadlift PR.
Yeah.
Why can't you get past it?
I'm a fucking beta, dude. I don't train it, dude. I don't train it. I don't like, or I'm starting to train it properly now. You know what I'm saying? But like, it's not, before getting up to this point, it's just been like rock-headed, like caveman pickup. Like I'd max every week. I don't even know if that's, I don't know. Some would say it's a good idea and some would say it's not. You know?
Yeah, everyone has a fucking opinion.
Teach their fucking own.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you were in the gym hang cleaning like every week.
Yeah.
Probably multiple times a week, if I recall correctly. And it just like, once you get used to the movement, like if I haven't deadlifted for like a super long time, and then like 4 months, and I go in, I deadlift like PR, like that night I can't sleep. Like my nervous system's fucked. But if I'm deadlifting every week, it doesn't.
Really?
I mean, your body gets used to it over time.
I would. It's probably not worth it just at your age and stuff, but to get into Olympic lifting. But that seems like for your specific work, that seems like that'd be one of the best fucking movements to do. Just, you gotta fucking throw shit on your shoulder. You gotta fucking.
Well, I should have you teach me because I was doing it. Like I was hang cleaning, and I realized like, dude, any like shoulder or any workout I've ever done besides legs has gone to my shoulders. Like if I'm not thinking and I don't and I'm not connecting properly, goes to my shoulders. So then I go do hang cleans. And my PT Taylor showed me how to do them and stuff. And I essentially started, and I got a couple cues from a guy at the gym that I think kind of I let mess me up a little bit. And what I was doing was like shrugging it into the fucking air and just catching it. Like I was chucking like all that weight into the air and just catching it. I wasn't like getting underneath the bar.
Right, you need to get underneath it. And then at the same time, I think when I was watching you is your arms are like this, and they need to be, like, you need to be catching it up here. Yeah. Not right here.
Now I started to do that. Like
nice.
I would just go like this. I'm talking like I would like deadlift it into a really hard shrug. Like it would, and I'd just throw it in the air. I'd throw it high enough to where I didn't have to get underneath it.
Gotcha.
So whatever that is, I was doing like 155 for like reps.
Yeah, that's a muscle clean essentially is what they would call that.
So like, and like I felt good. Like whatever it was, like I was getting a good workout. Whatever it was, like that's another thing, dude. I'd be like doing wacky shit to like test myself. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll go like and finish a set, and like I immediately I get up while I'm dying, and I go and I put my weights back, and I'll like have them, and I have them in the air so that like it's like a lot of guys you'll see they'll like put their weights down and wait and rest, and they'll go put them back, and I'm like I want to like okay I'm done with the set, I'm dead, I want to see if I can make it. You know what I mean? Like little small idiot challenges to try to like strengthen yourself, you know.
Fucking
what I mean?
Caveman shit.
But that's how I picked up dressers over my head, you know what I mean? So that's like, you know.
What if you had to do just 3 workouts for the rest of your life to maximize your physical ability? What would they be? You can only get 3 in the gym.
Just to maximize physical ability, or just fuck?
Because I think Zercher squats or fucking Zerker squats, whatever they're, that's probably one of them.
Dude, yeah, Zerchers would be good. Probably like Zerchers, like hang cleans and like
Yeah,
Man, dude,
biceps in there. You got to get your arms.
Dude, I either want to say like back squats or barbell squats or like overhead press.
But I think the Zerker squats are taking care of the back squats. Because that's literally your entire posterior chain is getting worked in a Zerker squat. And I guess you're kind of fucking getting your arms in there a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you want them to all be compounds for sure because,
right,
like, then
100%.
your core's getting trained, you know. And then it's like, I would like, I'm just so concerned with my legs nowadays being strong.
You
like,
want them to be strong?
Yeah, like compared to like who gives a fuck?
That's where all your testosterone is.
Or like my fucking arms. That's the one thing that whenever guys start to work for me, it's always like the same thing as their legs are just bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And then I've had so many guys come in, they'll be carrying furniture and their legs just start shaking like this and fucking straight. And I'm like, we're hitting legs in the gym. They're always like, fuck, damn it. But it's like, dude, like that is like that's your whole, it's half your body. Like the idea of like going to the gym and fucking just hitting your upper body and that's it is crazy. Because like you start going to the gym and like everyone starts going to the gym mostly, besides maybe like your high school athletes, but like, because they want to get jacked. Yep. They want to get fucking jacked. Yep. And then and then they keep going and like in your case, it just doesn't happen. I don't know how you keep going.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I don't know. You keep that. Hey, dude, you got
Jake is saying. Same with Jake though. That's
hey, you get past 465 deadlift, you can start talking to me about fucking weightlifting, fucker.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah. You can't touch me, buddy.
But no. So it's like, dude, you start to lift to get jacked, and then after a while, you're like, well, that's probably like the least important thing, especially if you're like in like reading personal development and stuff, you know, and you're all like on this whole like hero's journey fucking thing or whatever, you know, and it's like, well, I should be strong before anything else, you know, and then like this, the muscles come, you know what I mean? It's not like I don't know, it's just like hyper, and like if we're talking about like challenging wise, like hypertrophy is like the easiest one to me. You know what I mean? You just go in and just like pick or I don't know, do you count reps?
Yeah, not really.
I think it's kind of bitch made. Like it's really. Like just go in. Hypertrophy is such a big range. It's like 6 to 30 or whatever it is.
That's what Muhammad Ali would say, that he would start counting once he like felt like he couldn't go anymore. You know what I mean? Once he was fucking dead tired, and then he would start counting.
This is why I like you, because it's like me and you. I feel like we retain the same personal development stuff. Where it's like you hear that, you go, because I remember that shit too, and like I'm like, oh, that's thug shit. And like I think that's one of the reasons like why I just like I stopped counting reps. I'm like you're in this till you're done. It's not you hit 10 and you stop. Like you're in this till it's over. Yeah. And then, you know, it just like how you do everything's how you do everything. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So it's just I'm not gonna like it's just like the same thing on a fucking job. It's like okay, if we're doing like a clean out and we're cleaning a house out and the guys are like, I'm like, yeah, you guys are off at 3. Okay, but then 3 hits and the job's not done, and we have to get that job done that day. Well, what the fuck? What are we gonna do? Are we gonna go home because we were supposed to get off at 3, or are we gonna get the fucking job done? You know, that's
how do they respond to that?
They get the fucking job done usually. Yeah. Sometimes they cry. You know what I mean? But like my guys are great. You know what I'm saying? Like we like. It just depends on what they got going on. You know, everybody's human. There's times where like maybe one guy has to shake out, like he just can't stay. You know. And you just gotta be like understandable, you know, like everything's adapting.
So you were talking about your hero. You've mentioned like a hero's journey in there. When did what was growing up for you like? What the fuck was that like?
Growing up?
Yeah. What was pre-hero's journey Tommy look like?
Fuck. I grew up in this neighborhood on the hill, and then I would say like. This is probably for most people what the situation is. Like in order to get into developing yourself, you have to hit like that despair pit, and then you have to go, oh, I'm a little boy. I got to become strong to counteract this, right? And so how I got into my little despair pit was, you know, like it wasn't any like massively like traumatizing thing. Like I'm sure you've talked to a lot of people where it's like you hear their story and you're like, holy fuck, I'm a bitch. Like the shit they've been through, you're just like, wow, I can't. Mine was just like little like pinpricks over like a million over time, just like constant, you know. Like a lot of my family was pretty big into like, and this isn't to like trash talk anyone, but it just like they were so big into like, don't go do that. It's dangerous.
I know exactly what
Please
you mean.
be careful. And it's like, well, it's like you gotta like. Do you know what like the Oedipal mother is?
The Oedipal. Yeah, absolutely.
They
I do.
smother you to death.
Right.
And it's like, well, it's like your kid has to go out into the fucking world and experience the world, you know? And so that was like what my family was like. And then my friends in grade school were just like, that was like a big core of like, you know, my communication, you know, with people. And a lot of my relationships with a lot of those people just weren't that great.
Would you say that like because of that mindset that your family put on you? Because I feel very, very similar to you. That it instilled like an unhealthy fear of the world in you. Like were you afraid to go out and do shit because of that?
Well, yeah. Oh yeah, of course. That's why that's why I had to start traveling the way I did.
That's right. So because you went on these crazy ass fucking trips.
I had to. It was every time I go to do anything, I have to push past that fucking voice they put in my head, right? That I keep in my head, right? And it's no matter what, it just doesn't go away. It never fucking goes away, dude. It always stays. And it's just like before you do anything that you're supposed to do that's even remotely challenging, it's like, wait, you know? That's why, do you ever think about like raising kids? You're like, man, I don't want them to have that voice. I don't want them to have that voice fucking at all, dude. Like it's horrible. And like I went so much time, like even like when I started my business where it's like I would always have to call someone before I did something.
How so?
To make sure I didn't fuck it up. You know what I mean? Like I'd call my dad usually, right? And so I'd be like, hey, like, you know, like what do you think I do with this? You know what I mean? And then when I started to become a man was when I started to go, no, damn it. I'm going to take it to the point of failure, then call someone once I've failed, you know, and then ask, right? And then I found out, I was like, that's how I learned I could pick up dressers. Because I used to call people to come help me move furniture all the time. And then that was like the first year. And then eventually I was like, you know what, dude, like fucking quit. Cause like people were I could feel them getting irritated. You know what I mean? Cause like I didn't have the fucking money to pay them. It was like, they were helping me. You know what I mean? And like I would help in other ways, like in their lives and whatever. It was like the Hill is very much like a brotherhood environment, right? So it's like I help you, you help me.
Yep.
I just felt like I was calling too much. Whether or not that was real, my mind thought it, right? And so I was just like, eventually I was like, dude, you got to be a fucking man and just go fucking do this on your own, dude. And then I started to do stuff, and I was like, man, I'm capable of way more than I thought, you know? And then like I went and like the Goggins thing is kind of like go and do stuff so you have proof, right? So you have
yourself. Proof to yourself.
So you had the despair thing, right? And so then what you have to start to do once you get through that, and like my despair thing was like my childhood, and then like relationship not going well, and then I got out of that relationship, and I was like, oh shit, that was my fault. You know, like I didn't, like a lot of people get out of a relationship, they'll be like, fuck them.
Yep.
There's a little bit of that, but like I mainly was like, wow, you know, can I not be better? Because if not, then if you go fuck them, then they're your master. You know, like I'm way too competitive for that shit. It's just not my deal. And I was like, okay, how can I be better so that I don't do this to someone else, right? And then, so then you fight through all that, you get better, start doing all the furniture and stuff and whatever, and all these things were happening to me. And then eventually you get to a point where you're like, I'm gonna go make something fucking happen that's horrible that I could use as fuel later, you know? Like there's something about choosing the struggle and fucking going like, I'm gonna go fucking annihilate myself out in the fucking woods. And then like now, like whenever I do anything, it's like, I went for context, I did like a 37-mile hike.
Is this your first adventure-esque thing, would you say? Like, is this the first time you really pushed your limits in that regard?
No.
Okay.
This was the first physical one. The first ever time where I really pushed out of me being like a little boy was where I chose something was when I went on my first trip. And like, even the first day, my dad was like, I love my dad, by the way. He's a great fucking guy. I still, like, he has the key to my shop, love him to death, like, great person. And so that day I was going to go down to like Arkansas. It was like 4 p.m. And he's like, don't leave now, wait until the morning. And I was like, no, fuck that. I just who cares? Just go.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, then something happens and I can't go, you know? And I drove through a fucking rainstorm, and I ended up in Little Rock, sleeping in this ghetto-ass Walmart parking lot, you know? Like, literally, just like cars driving by with spinners, like just bump it. Like, it was super ghetto. And then like I couldn't sleep, dude. It was pouring rain, dude. It was like a rock concert. And I was like, I woke up and I was like, oh, and like back then I was like big meditator person. And I'm trying to like meditate. I can't do it. Like my whole framework is unraveling. You know what I'm saying? Like I did all this stupid shit I used to do. Not to like say meditating's bad. I'm actually thinking about starting it again, but there's timing, right? Yep. And then I went on that whole trip, and that was a 30-day trip. And I went down to New Orleans, all the way to Florida, and then all the way up to Maine to Acadia, over to Niagara Falls and back. And it was a 30-day trip.
Holy shit.
Insane. Like still, like it's like the one I romanticized the most out of all the ones I've been on, because it was just like, dude, when you're gone for 30 days straight, like you become a new person.
Fuck. And did you chart that out, or did you just go, fuck it, I'll go here and then I'll go here? I
went, so I just knew Acadia for sure. And I knew I wanted to get the fuck out of here for sure. and then I had a buddy that they were going to New Orleans, and I was like, okay, I'll go down, I'll meet you guys down there. So that was New Orleans. And then like, other than that, I just knew I wanted to go to Acadia. And then I just kind of started going where I wanted to go, you know, and I'd never seen a beach before in my life. Like I'd never traveled my entire life.
Wow.
Ever.
Wow,
like my dad never had the time. Like he was always running his concrete company. And
how old were you at the time?
Man, that was 4 years ago, so I'm 32 now.
26?
Yeah,
no, wait, that's 28.
27, 28.
Yeah,
might have been 5. But yeah, and then like that was like, man, this is tumultuous. Like I found out there were so many times where like I found out that I was just like a little boy, you know. But
tell me about those. Like this is so fucking interesting to me.
Well, I had to figure it out, because like here in St. Louis, dude, I've been here my whole life. Like I can have especially once I started getting into business. Like nowadays, dude, I can have anything done here that I want.
Yep.
Anything. If I need anything done, it's like that, right? And there's something about like I leave, and then I have no connections, and then it's like, are you if you're as powerful as you say you are, you should be able to go into the abyss and come back, right? Every time, you know. It's like you like, and then like I've had to find so many mechanics and all kinds of shit. But I go and I went through all these experiences. I got food poisoning and fucking just like I went like and dude, it was that moment was so shitty. Like I ended up in Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Okay. I
think, which is like, I think it's where J. Cole's from.
Fayetteville. Yeah.
And it was super just not what I was looking for, to be honest. Nothing. And I was there, and I got on the phone with my dad, and I was like, I went back to that little boy kind of mode. I was like, I just want to come home, dude. And I was like, this sucks, you know, like I hate this place, whatever. And then we talked, and this is why like I love my dad. It's like he was like, no, like you got to keep going, be a man, you know. And then he
oh, that's so interesting.
His framework, like that's
what about him? Yeah. Well, why did he change?
It just, dude, I've noticed like from me going in the direction that I'm going now, like my dad's changed a lot, you know. That's why like people aren't stagnant, you know what I'm saying? Like and it's just like given the moment, like I was there, and he knew how to follow me perfectly, you know what I'm saying? Where I was like, he's always been like that, where it's like, don't be a little bitch ever, you know what I mean? Like because he's my dad, but he's been my boss for a lot of my life too.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's both. So like he kind of came with the boss mode a little bit. He's like, hey, don't be a fucking pussy. Like you got to keep going. I was like, fuck, okay. And so then, like, this whole trip is me in cities, mainly. You know, I realized I hated beaches. Just people are just fucking hammered, and there's nothing to do. You know what I mean? It's and I can't swim like that. Dude, on this trip, I literally almost drowned in a waterfall. And I have a video of it. Because it was the second day, and I was in Arkansas, dude. I was in Arkansas, and there's a trail, and it was raining. And I was like, man, if it wasn't raining, dude, I could go hike. And I was like, dude, you're such a bitch. Go hike. Why are you out here? And so I go hike this 2-mile trail, and I'm all fired up. I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm a fucking man. Let's go, you know. And I get over to this waterfall, and I was like, I'm gonna go stand underneath that fucking waterfall. And so I go and I set my phone up, and I take a video, and I go up, and I get kind of underneath it, and I come back, and I was like, dude, I didn't get far enough underneath that fucking thing. And like I could swim. Like I'm not a practiced swimmer, dude. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like I go back, and the thing hits me, and I go boom, and I fall into the fucking water. And I'm like, there's a video of me. I'm trying to like swim out, like clawing for my life. I'm like, no, I'm gonna fucking die. And then I got out, you know. But like, so that was. I'll show you the video.
Yeah,
later.
please do.
It's so bad. And so, but yeah. So then, I get all fired up. My dad convinces me. He's like, keep going, dude. And
This is how many days in? About 2 weeks in, did you say, or what?
Yeah, like 17 to 20.
Okay.
Somewhere in that realm, And then I go to Shenandoah National Park. And so that was like my first like real big like nature experience. Like on the rest of this trip, I was really kind of just gym ratting in cities, which is sick. So fun. Like if you never like go to like different gyms like that in other towns, dude, such a blast. And like the first time I ever hit 225 was on this trip on bench. And I wasn't listening to headphones at that time. And I was in an abandoned Falstaff brewery in New Orleans, and like they had like outdoor gym and shit, like all rusted weights, and I was listening to Britney Spears because it was on the radio when I hit 225 for the first time. But I go to Shenandoah, and I go on like this 4-mile hike. I meet all these fucking awesome people, like foreigners and stuff, and we're all talking. I was like, man, like my soul. It was like the first time like it was like on fire. I was like, wow, this is so sick. I love this. This is amazing. And then that day, and so like I was in this low in Fayetteville, right? And then I get up there, I'm like, bam, let's go, top of the world. And then I made my chicken that day, right? So I cooked all my meal prep. And so my meal prep kept going bad on that trip. Yeah. And then so I would always clean out with soap and then clean out and then make some new food. And then, because I just never like packed ice well in my cooler. And then that time I just wiped it out. I didn't use soap. And I fucking cooked the whole thing of chicken. I ate like the whole Tupperware of chicken while I was in Shenandoah. I was feeling good. I was eating good, And then like I went and I go and I'm like right outside of Washington, D.C. And I go and pass out a Cracker Barrel, which that is why I have a Cracker Barrel hat on. Cracker Barrel, you can sleep in any Cracker Barrel parking lot in the country if you ever like are on the lam.
Okay.
Maybe sold some bad drugs or something, But
noted.
It's such a great thing to know.
They encourage it or what?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I just want people to eat breakfast there. You do it at Walmart's too, but Walmart's it depends on the city. You know.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've done it hotels before, but I haven't done.
I've never stayed at a hotel or in the parking lot.
In the parking lot.
I've never done that before. It depends on like the vehicle you're running.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Like I'm like in a covered van.
Okay, so Cracker Barrel and Walmart though.
Yes, Cracker Barrel's the shit. And then so I get in this Cracker Barrel parking lot, and it's kind of ghetto outside. I kind of realize I'm in the ghetto a lot now that I've said that. But I'm in this ghetto outside of Washington D.C. and I just like I wake up at like 2 a.m. and I'm like, oh, and I'm like, I just feel horrible and it's cold out. It's like 30 degrees. I'm like, so just really uncomfortable sleeping. Like it's 30 degrees and it's not that bad, but then like normally we're sleeping, it's like 65.
Yep.
So it's like, I just wake up, my body hurts. And I'm like, and I just gotta I gotta go to the bathroom so bad. And I'm like, what's wrong with me? And I go and I'm going to all these gas stations and none of them are letting me in. Like they just have like a window, like a drive up window. And then I finally find one and I go inside. And the lady lets me in. I was in the bathroom for like 45 minutes, and like the smoke alarm's beeping. I'm just like, oh crap, and then I come out and like I'm dead. Like and she looked at me like I was doing heroin in the bathroom, just like, what the fuck's wrong? What's this guy on? And then I go over to Cracker Barrel, pass out finally from exhaustion. Yeah. Wake up in the morning, go into their bushes and just hurl, and I was like, oh fuck, and so that's why I bought this hat. Because the next Cracker Barrel I went to, I felt bad. And I was like, fuck, I gotta buy a Cracker Barrel.
Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, because I puked in their bushes. It was such a bad trip. Such a bad trip. And then my friend Sarah lived in Washington at the time, and she kind of saved me for a little bit. I had a place where like I knew someone. Yeah. So like I went there for like a day and got over my food poisoning, and then I just rushed through like Boston, New York, all that shit, drove through all of it just to get to Acadia, just because like I was like, I'm so done. After because I was like on this low, high, boom, like get fucked again, dude. And that's like what these trips teach me. It's like earlier with the Coke, right? It's the same thing where it's like you expect something to be this way, and then God always shows you, hey, you fool, you didn't, what your expectations were don't fucking matter. It's
asinine expectations.
Exactly. Yeah. Like we're human and we're flawed and we're always going to fucking, that's like everyone thinks they know. This is why I get mad when people online are so like adamant about like, yeah, I know how things are. And it's like, you don't know shit. We're all human. We don't know fucking anything that's going on. And so during this whole first trip, I kept having these expectations of this happening and then this happens the whole time. And so my destination, like my goal of like, and it's, which is so good to have, is like Acadia. I have no idea what's there. And then I find out that there's like a mountain there. It's called Cadillac Mountain. And if you go up there, it's like the first spot that you'll see the sunrise in the United States, right? And so I'm like, okay, that's where I'm going to go, right? And I finally get there, and I drive up to the top of the mountain, and I go to look out the ocean, and it's enveloped in clouds, and I can't see anything. You know what I'm saying? And I have a video of me just dying laughing. Like, I understand what the meaning of the whole trip was. You know what I mean? And just like fuck your expectations. You just got to go and just move and quit thinking and go live your life, right? And so, I get up there and God's like, yeah, you want this view? Fuck you, dude. You thought? And I was laughing hysterically like I was just dying, you know? And then the next day, it was Easter Sunday, and I went up there and saw everything and stuff, and it was really cool. And
So when you come back from that, you have this realization, like your expectations are asinine, they're dumb as hell. How do you start acting differently from that? Like what's the major? How do you see your everyday changing?
There's one that, like, in terms of like approaching people. Usually your brain will like say something like, oh, like they're going to hate me or something. Like, no matter what, if he starts saying something like negative, dude, I'm just, nah. I just walk in. It's like, go find out. What, you think you're right about everything? Stop. You've been wrong about so much. Like, look at the trip you were just on.
Oh, that's great.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I mean, like proof. You have proof of that. That's why you go and do things like that you choose, you know? Because the despair is going to come. So if you inflict a little despair upon yourself, you know? Like, road tripping like that's exhausting. A lot of people romanticize it, dude. It's fucking exhausting. Every single one I've been on has been exhausting, dude. Every single one. And they're fun. They're a blast. I love them. Like, and I've already planned one for this year. I'm going to go on. It's going to be fantastic. But like, you know, like you go out, like it's nerve-wracking because I know I'm going to go find myself. And that's always fucking horrifying, especially when you get stronger because the tests get bigger. You know what I'm saying? It's every time. And like people could talk about if you don't have any kind of faith, I just think you're a fool. You know, like you can't, you lose or my thing is like, because I have faith, I know that the tests get greater. But if you don't believe in God or like any kind of universe or anything like that, you're not going to believe that you're destined for anything and that your challenges are going to become greater and that like your power is scalable in this world. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to have any of that because you're just like, everything means nothing. You know, there's not really any point to it.
Yeah, I think you're right in the fact that you have to have some sort of faith in that. Whether our faiths look the same, I think is like the wrong question and a question not worth diving into. But I do agree with you, like the fact that I'm moving forward in this world or you're moving forward in this world is pure proof that you have faith in something. Faith is that it's going to change or your current situation is going to change for the better.
Well, that's what matters.
Yeah.
It's like I really don't give a shit what people believe in. I just don't. Like, as long as you're utilizing the power system of faith, then I'm happy.
Well, this is kind of my frustration with like a new age. I'm around like a lot of Christians that are like, you know, God, you know, help me, you know, heal or help me get these things or whatever. And it's like, okay, if you were actually praying to God and you would be praying to God that he puts as much suffering in your life that you can handle as possible. You know what I mean? Like just exactly what you're saying. How can I suffer more? How can I extend my roots to hell so that my branches extend to heaven? That's
exactly. Well, or it's just like, I just don't, I don't think if you're sitting in your bed praying every day that you're doing God's work. Like,
right.
Or it's like you got to define, okay, what is God's work really? Like what, like, and at the same time, this is in the vein of like, I'm fucking human, so who knows if I'm fucking right. But this is what I think, right? Is like, I got to go out and do the hardest shit to honor him, right? So if Jesus really died for me, right? Then I don't sit here and just like pray. I got to go make that fucking shit worth it, right? And I got to go test myself and go and push myself as far as I can, you know? And it's like, that's what I feel like is God, you know? And like, that's how I know that's God, because it's like when I go into nature, I feel so connected to that, you know? And like, and this is like in terms of like nature when I'm really fucking myself up. Like I hiked like 17 miles around like Yosemite, you know? And I went to like areas that like I just didn't see anyone, you know? And it's like bare mountain lion country. And I'm just like, fuck it, go out there, you know? Like whatever, see what happens. Maybe you could fight the mountain lion. You know, like fuck it. Who can like sit for? No, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Though like you never know. Like, how do you know that you can't fuck the mountain lion up? You know, and it's just like, I just like I would rather die like that You know what I mean? Like inaction, dude. Like that's like, or I was thinking about this on the way over here. I'm glad we talked about this because it's like I would rather, dude, if I died out like on one of my trips, like while I'm traveling, it would motivate so many fucking people I already know.
Yeah.
Because it's just like there's something about dying in your purpose. Like what like if I died and I love what I do for a living. Like what I do for a living is such an amazing thing. My business is one of few that like every aspect of my business truly helps people. Where it's like you're either saving money or whatever. Like we do so much for the community. I love it, very passionate about it. But that's not why I do it for those reasons, but it's like I want to travel and I want to go on some grand journey that eventually takes me out. That's my dream. I shit you not. Like there's something about it, and just because I'm a weeb, I'm an anime fan. You know what I'm saying? Like dying in action, like just like just the people would just be like, man, like Tommy really died like pushing after like what he wants. You know, that fires me the fuck up, dude. You know, and yeah, like have you ever seen the movie Into the Wild?
Yeah, oh fuck yeah.
So that's why I wanted to travel, because like I saw that movie, dude, and I was like, and like anime for a lot of reasons, but like it's like he has all this stuff, and all these things going for him, and he just leaves, and he fucking crashes his car in a ditch, burns all of his money, and then he makes it to his destination and dies fully in his purpose as destination. That's why people like that movie, right? There's the escapism side of it, but like guys specifically, like most guys have seen that movie and love it, right? Because it's like the full, I can't think of the word, but like that is like what you want the male experience to be, is like you go and you die for your cause, you know, and like that, it fires me up, you know what I mean? Like, and yeah, and then so like that's I guess what I want for myself, you know what I mean? Like, or I'm pretty realistic about the fact that I'm gonna croak. I feel like a lot of people walk around like they're not going to die. You know what I mean? Like I live like I'm going to fucking die. Dude.
It's so strange because they like there's such a dichotomy to it. They walk around like they aren't never going to die, and they walk around like they are going to die all at the same time. Like if I go up and talk to that girl, I might fucking die. So you know what I mean? Like
fight or flight, like constantly.
Yeah, fight or flight. Like I can't go talk to her because you know she might reject me, and that feels like fucking death. You know, so in that moment you think you're going to die, and then people sit on the couch and just eat fucking potato chips as if they're never gonna die. You know? Yeah.
It's always the opposite. I feel like we live in opposite land, or it's because of what they like were telling us. You know, when we were younger, dude. Honestly, like there's a lot of like weird mental shit that they did to us, like psyop shit. You know, we don't gotta get into that, but you know, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's been a lot taught to us. Like a lot of people would call me an idiot for going and hiking 17 miles into fucking predator country. But that made me tougher. It made me less prone to dying. That's what actually makes you less prone to dying.
Right.
Not sitting on the fucking couch.
Right. And the Oedipal mothers, when they smother their children, they think that they're keeping them safe, but they're making them that much more fragile to the world around them. So it's like they're actually expanding the amount of danger that is in that person's life. Yeah.
But they're not going to be right. This world's despair. It's despair and suffering.
Yep.
You can't avoid it. That is, if you want to talk about like, that's not my opinion, that's fact. You're going to die. So at least that is happening, right? You're going to suffer. And the people you know are going to fucking die too, right? You're going to go through it. So if you smother the child's not going to be able to handle it when that shit happens, you know, ever. And then that's why you have so many we see it all the time. There's weak people everywhere and they can't handle the things that are happening. Especially if you're like overweight. I mean, we I don't know if we talk but
say whatever you want.
It just fuck, dude. It just says a lot about you if you fucking can't take care of yourself. You know what I mean? It's like I just sit there and I'm like, I can't tell you how many overweight people I've talked to about like them being resentful about certain situations happening, or them being like, oh, I can't do anything in this situation or whatever. It's like, well, yeah, you've never taken power into your hands your whole fucking life. No wonder the situation controls you. You know, it says a lot about you if you're not in good shape, and it's just like. Yeah, I don't know. Like it just, you have to be ready for the fucking suffering, you know? Like that's what's fucked up about it. Like all this comfort that we've created, you know? And it's like, I think that's really great that we've done that. We're so strong as like a race that we have created like this bubble that we're in, but you got to like venture outside the bubble and go fuck around a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Or else like you're just not. I just can't, like, I couldn't imagine being the kind of person that, like, I go my whole life, like, through comfort, and then I get on, like, my hospital bed, and I'm like, fuck, I don't want to die. I'm not ready for this. And I can't take it and I just die. That sounds horrible. That sounds that's so scary, and I just don't want that at all.
When you think about, because I think about, there's like the kids in the ghetto that like came from nothing, and then like they were forced into that suffering, and then there's like I don't know how to describe this, but there's this weird thing in our society that I think it would behoove us to value choosing suffering more than we do. And you know what I'm saying? Like I think we look at the kid that came from the ghetto and then made it out, like that is so admirable, and it is. But in a lot of times in doing that, I think we're making these kids that come from normal situations, they come from like okay households, feel like they have to be something different in order to, like it's okay. Like if you are a kid that comes from a middle class background, you had a good parents, it's still very, very admirable to fucking choose suffering and to choose to go through that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, you have to. Or it's like the one thing that's funny is like sometimes like when you hear people's stories like that like came from these fucked up backgrounds, do you ever get like a little jealous?
Yeah,
in a
weird way.
You're like, I wish fucking I went through that.
In a terrible way, yeah.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's like you don't wish you went through it, but you're like, man, like then they're always really strong.
Yes.
And then you're like, man, like that would be sick to be that strong, I just which I am, but like it's just it really makes me think about like how I want to raise my kids.
Yeah.
Like
how are you planning on it?
I don't fucking know. It's like, do you traumatize them on purpose? To like build some character.
I think every good parent needs to be a little fucked up.
Like a Spartan. You like throw them to the wolves, like survive, kid, or like an anime dad, where like I just abandon them off the road. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like
or
maybe
you betray them and try to kill them, or
what works? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't fucking know. Like that's like I think you're guaranteed to traumatize your kids.
Yeah, one way or the other.
No matter, and a lot of people that we know are gonna do it trying not to do it.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a big problem. I can already tell you, which is fine. Like, hey, but it's like eventually, like with parents and kids, like you gotta like kind of full circle and just be like, or the kid has to come full circle eventually. So like the parent traumatizes the kid eventually gets into adulthood and goes, okay, like I need to not worry about that as much. And then eventually the kid has to get to a point where to have a good relationship with the parent, which you don't necessarily have to, but they have to get to a point where they can go, okay, they gave me a lot of good and I used that, and they gave me bad, but then I grew from that.
Yeah.
And then the bad was even better.
Yes.
For growth, so it's like.
But you have to have that perspective, and you have to give them, I don't know if you instill it in them or some way, they have to have the perspective to be able to appreciate that.
Yeah, well,
right?
Like the kid? Or like.
Right, the kid.
But it's like they have to find that on their own.
Yeah.
And so it's like you don't know. You know what I mean? Like my parents didn't have me get into like all these personal development books and stuff. It's like who knows? Like it's so like this is why it's important to like put your kids in like sports and stuff and like whatever and have them in decent communities, because then the likelihood of them when they get into adulthood to find that is higher.
100%.
Right.
100%.
And so I just like what was I gonna say? Like I don't know. I feel like if anyone should take anything from this, it's probably to traumatize your kids a little bit. Maybe choose it. You plan out the trauma.
Very carefully crafted trauma. Well, dude, my dad, like, dude, it was he radically instilled this in me, which is like, do not make excuses. Like, if you do not make excuses, every single other thing in your life will be okay. Like, everything in your life will be okay. This chick dumped you, and you want to go, oh, fuck that chick. Well, what did you do wrong? Figure out, assess what you did, and then be better next time. And maybe you didn't do anything wrong. Figure out how to pick a better girl next time. Like if you radically instill that, there is nothing that can be, taken from that. There's nothing that can throw you off the course completely, because it's every single thing you are responsible for. And like I think when people start making excuses, it's like you were saying earlier, you're creating a false idol out of that. It's like, okay, I am giving my power completely over to this excuse, which means I don't have free will in the scenario. It was determined by an outside force that you're idolizing. Even if you're not sitting there worshiping it, you are, turning an idol into that excuse.
Well, you'll hear me talk about power a lot. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I can't, the way I got around a lot of this stuff was competitive nature and stuff. And I'm like, I'm not going to give anyone power over me. Then once I heard that, like where it's like if someone comes at you hot, like really angry and stuff, it's like if you reciprocate that energy, you
You're a
give them
puppet.
control.
Yeah.
Right. And then so it's like, I go, no, I'm going to, because like I got ego issues. Right. So like, I'm like, nah, I'm putting myself right here above you and I'm going to treat you like a child in this situation. You know what I'm saying? Like that's that. But like,
Yeah.
I just like, yeah, I don't. I even when it came to like porn and stuff, like I don't like I heard that like, you know, someone was like, if you, well, can I use that word?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I'll use that fucking word. I like if you watch porn, you're watching another guy have sex with another girl. it makes you a cuck. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, well, I'm not a fucking cuck. You know what I mean? I was like, that's how I quit watching porn. You know what I mean?
That's a great reason.
I was like, I'm not a bit. I'm not gonna. I'm like, it's like go out and meet girls, dude. You fucking loser. What's wrong with you? You're watching porn, you know. Like, yeah, if you put in that competition vein, I usually can stop most things, you know.
That's right. I mean, like, because if I say words and then I get a word to make you mad and you come up and punch me, you're my puppet in that scenario, right? Like, I just said words that controlled your actions. How much power do I have? I have so much power over you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, that's great. And you mentioned anime a bunch. And I feel we've discussed this a little bit, but it's getting there culturally to where it's a little bit more relevant and accepted. But it is something that not like I don't think the mainstream has like adopted yet. But what have you taken away from anime, which I think a lot of people think, oh, this is just this cartoon, whatever it is. What are you seeing in it that other people aren't?
Well, one that's pretty wild is like there's some like MLB teams and like NBA teams that have been putting like anime on their like One Piece on their stuff, which is fucking sick. That when I saw that, I was like, oh, it's mainstream now. That I think that is like the moment probably. But like I think the message, because a lot of like American TV, I guess, it's really trying to like indoctrinate you into fucking bullshit usually. And then anime is the same message pretty much every single time, which is like if you try and put your all into this, then you can achieve and accomplish fucking anything, you know? And then it's just like with me, like I watched anime for so many years and gamed for so long and played characters like that and watched characters like that where I was like, I have to go do this. You can't keep watching that message over and over and over again like that and then not go and try to be great. You know what I mean? Like there's no, and so like I wish everyone only watched fucking anime. To be honest with you, dude. Could you imagine how great the
world would be better,
dude? When I'm talking to girls, if they tell me they watch anime, I'm like green flag. I'm like, holy shit. I was like, because they at least like, and like you could watch anime and not get that mentality from it. You know what I mean? But like you at least like potentially have that mentality if you watch that. You know, if you have anywhere decent of a good head on your shoulders. You know, but yeah, I just like. I fucking love that shit, man. I really like. I don't really watch anything else. Yeah. To be honest with you, if someone else like comes over or whatever and they want to watch something, that's fine. But like, usually if I'm alone, I'm watching anime. Dude, motivates the fuck out of me, dude.
You need to watch Berserk still, but
yeah,
dude, you would fucking love that shit. But okay, and then you said you like even as a kid you were playing like you were kind of a fat kid, like a nerdy looking kid, right? I'm not.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude.
I'm not talking
I heard you were a pussy, Jack. Dude, that's what Jake was saying when I walked in, dude. He's like, Jack's a huge pussy when he was a kid, dude. And you were too, Jake, dude. I heard that. Jack said that, dude.
I'm not talking shit. I'm not talking shit.
Yeah, no, dude. When I was a kid, dude, I was such a piece of shit, dude. It was horrible. No, I was bigger. You know, I feel like you're either built skinny or fat. That was a lot of like where the despair came from. I got bullied for being fat.
Did you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, dude. But it was like odd. Like I was friends with all my bullies too.
Gotcha.
Know? So like it wasn't like fully bullying, but it kind of hurt a little more because you're like, oh, these are my friends saying this. It wasn't like you're like, oh, like TV drama, like you were never friends. You walk past them in the hall, they're like, fuck you fat piece of shit. Like they're all my friends, you know? And like I don't resent them heavy for it. You know what I mean? Like they were just like kids can't like think like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not, and it helped me become who I am now. You know, I can't really resent anyone for any of that shit. You know what I mean? Because I fuck with who I am now. So like, you know, just thank you. You know what I mean? Like that's even like the shit that happened with my past relationship. It's always like thank you afterwards. Because like you sent me on the journey, right? You know. But yeah, I was fat for sure. And then I was fat up until I was like 26 or so.
Okay, really?
Yeah, it's like a few years ago. Like it
okay, so I mean, were you fat on your trip, or did you had on the what's the place that you fucking went to?
The first trip it was when I was getting jacked. Like that's when I was gym rat for a couple of years.
Gotcha.
I was gym rat,
and then you went on the big fucking life altering journey.
Well, that was a hike. so that was like me and a buddy from Denver, where he's from here. He lives in Denver. We went on a 30-mile hike and got picked up by search and rescue.
Okay.
And so it was this hike. And then so it was supposed to be like 31 miles, and it turns out it's like 37. And so, this is what I mean about like choosing something physical that's horrible. Like the road trip journey is another way of fucking becoming a man or whatever. But like this, like where you're going to go, I like pushing out of my physical limitations, because then it's all spirit after that, right? You have to like coach yourself really well. But so me and him go on this hike, and then we end up splitting up, dude. I run out of water. I fucking ran out of food. My phone's on like 10% battery. It was horrible. And then I found him at like mile 31, and I thought I made it. And then he's like, I was like, and he's in a creek bed, you know, and I thought it was gonna be a parking lot, you know, and I was like, what the fuck happened, you know? And he's like, I called search and rescue. I was like, why? I'm like, fuck. I was like, I went through this whole journey of like, because like at the beginning of that hike, I was so like, fuck, like at like mile 20, like my mental voice, I didn't know how to like witness my mind yet, you know? And then I did some of it. Like I learned while I was out there. Like I was on the journey, and I changed fundamentally. And I was like, I'm going to fucking win. I'm going to beat this thing. I'm like, whatever. And then he calls search and rescue. So then we sit there, both of our legs blow up because now we're sitting, you know?
Yeah.
They send a fucking helicopter and fucking like, and I was like, I'm on the phone. I'm like, I'm not paying for this fucking thing. No fucking way. And they come and pick us up, and they're like, you're 10 miles out from the trailhead. And really it was like 7. I was like, oh shit. They drive us out. And that was it. And then like a year later, my buddy hits me up, and he's coming back into town, and he's like, hey, let's go do that back half that we missed and then add a little bit. And so we go do a 17-mile hike. It was cool. We're like, yay, we did it. We finished, you know? And then we did that. And then I was like, I'm a bitch after that. I was like, I have to do the whole thing start to finish. I was like, I'm a fucking pussy, dude. I'm like, no. Like we were both like, yeah, it just didn't feel right.
Yep.
And so then I went like the next year, you know, I was like, I'm going to go fucking do it. I don't care, you know? And then
You're how old at this point?
I bet I'm like 29, 30, somewhere in that range. And then that buddy and totally understand why he did this. I'm still like, I'm going to hike with him in July this year. Like probably one of my best friends in the world. You would love him. He like this kind of conversation always, right? Very existential, you know? And so he was trying to convince my one buddy that was going to move my truck out there for me to like not go. You know, he's like, tell Tom that you're not going to move it because like he's going to fucking die if he goes and does this, you know. And like this trail, this is Tom Sauk down. If anybody wants to try it, it's Tom Sauk. It's the Tom Sauk portion of the Ozark Trail. Just let me know what you think. It's horrific. Like, and this buddy did rim to rim to rim in the Grand Canyon. That's 50 miles in one sitting. It took him like 26 hours. He said this is comparable difficulty wise. Okay, and so. My one buddy Chris that did your comedy show, he's the one that drove my truck out there, or moved my truck, and then he told Killian, he was like, hey, you know, he's like, I can't stop him. There's no way, you know. And then so I went out there and I did it, and then it took me 19 hours, and it was horrific because the difficulty level of this trail just goes like this.
As you get further into it, it gets harder and harder.
So just insane. And then this time it was harder than the last time. Cause there was it rained a lot, so I had to like take a 2-mile detour and do all this shit and stuff, and like my legs just blew up. Like I had to like I was taking off my clothes to like go walk across like a river. I was gonna like have my arm. I was like, there was no way I was not gonna finish and turn back. I would have fucking lost my mind. And so then I realized I could go around, but I stopped and my legs blew up. Like once you stop for a long time, dude, it's just not, when you're doing like long-term cardio like that, it's not great. And then I'm going, and I get into like these areas where I got to like cross water a lot, like after that, and where I can actually cross. And I get over like 4, and I get cocky. And the last one, my feet both got fully submerged, and I was still 10 miles out, you know. So the last 10 miles, my feet are soaked, like completely soaked. And then it starts to get dark, and I'm like, fuck. You know, like I didn't think it was gonna get dark, you know, and then like the feedback changes, right? Because like when it's light out, you go and you walk through the woods and you finish this area, and you're like, wow, cool, okay. And then now it's like you're just in the tunnel, and the tunnel never ends. And then every second it doesn't end the whole time. And then you haven't seen a human in fucking 7 hours. You know what I mean? Like, and you're like alone and like whatever, and like I'm blasting like heavy metal in my ears, like I'm a fucking lunatic, you know. And I go and my mind starts saying weird shit. Like, and the whole time I'm coaching myself, you know, I'm like, hey, it's okay. Anytime I say ow, I go, no, it's fine. Like, it's really important to do that. And then my body starts to kind of go like, man, if you don't, like, you're going to freeze to death out here, essentially, is what it said. And it's like 30 degrees. I'm like, I don't know. And I took a long sleeve out of my bag that was like really thin. I put on, felt like a blanket. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, I'm fucked up right now for sure, you know? And then I'm walking and I see a sign. It's like, you're 4 miles out. And then I went for like an hour or like an hour and a half. I still didn't make it. And I was like, fuck. I'm like, did I go the wrong way? Like all these things. Then I'm looking and I go and I look and then there's like a star and all of a sudden it starts fucking moving. And I was like, dude, I'm tripping balls right now. I go, I'm fucked. I'm like, this is insane. And then this guy walks out of the woods. It was a headlamp, you know? And I was like, oh shit. And I'm like, I'm ready to like attack. You know what I mean? Like I legit, like I was like, this guy's going to try to kill. I'm like, I might have to attack this guy, you know? And then his dog walks out. His dog comes up to me and starts loving on me, dude. And that thing slapped, dude. Like when you haven't seen a human, dude, when you haven't seen a human for like 7 hours, dude, a dog comes up and starts loving on you like that. I was like, oh, and he's like, hey, is that your blue truck down there at the parking lot? I was like, yeah, dude, you know? And he's like, what's going on? I told him where I came from, like where I started. He's like, how the fuck? He's like, that's so far away. How the fuck did you get over here? I go, I've just been hiking. And he's like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah. And I'm like giving him like a lot of one-word answers. Like because I still don't, like I'm still sketched a little bit. Like because I'm hurting bad. So like I'm on high alert, you know. And he was like, you want me to walk to your truck with you, you know? And I was like, no, I'm good. And he's like, I gotta find my other dog. My other dog's out. He's like, I gotta find him anyway. You know, and so like he's like, I'll just come with you, you know. And I think he lied, to be honest. He just wanted to make sure I didn't die. Gotcha. You know, and so and like we never found his fucking dog. Like there was no, you know what I'm saying? Like there's no, so like he didn't, like there's no way. And then I started to get feedback on like how slow I was moving. That's why like when I saw the 4 mile sign, I didn't fucking go anywhere because I was like, he would like stop. He was walking so slow, dude, and he'd stop and wait for me. And like I was like, oh, I'm moving, like I'm crawling.
Gotcha. And you don't have that feedback when you're alone.
No. Right, and then now I have permission to be like, oh, it sucks. You know what I mean? Which was nice at that point. It was like, it was okay because I was a mile and a half out. You know what I mean? I could be like, ow, fuck. You know, like I'm in so much pain. Like I was 19 hours or 18 and a half hours of me just being like, nah, keep going, G. Keep going, G. Keep going. And then finally I could be like, ow, fuck. Because like it got to the point, dude, where like my legs were so fucked up. There was like a fallen tree on the trail. I'd have to sit down on it and pick my legs up and go over. It was horrific. And then I drove home. It was an hour and a half drive.
How did it feel right when you get to your truck? When you finally finish, what was that feeling like?
Oh, dude. Well, I was thankful for the guy. It was so like comforting to have a fucking other human there. Like I think that helped a lot, dude. And like a dog. Dog was lit, you know. And then I got in the truck and like I legit, like, it felt good. I didn't know how to human yet anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like, I was like, I just need to get home. That was the first thing I thought. And I probably got a little hyped up, but like, dude, like you're so like depleted and shit that it's like, you're just like, you're happy you're done, but like, I couldn't even like feel emotions. You know what I mean? Like I was just, and then I get back to my apartment. I drove an hour and a half to St. Louis. Do not recommend that after 19 hours of hiking. So dangerous, you know, and so dangerous, dude, so bad. I'm eating like bananas I had in my truck still, which is like, I pounded like 6 bananas on the way out there. That was a horrible idea, by the way, for obvious reasons. And then so I got home. Took me like 20 minutes to get into my apartment that's on the 2nd floor. And then I got up there and I was like, I didn't want to eat, dude. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to like shower and go to bed. I showered and then I went to go to bed and I was like, oh, I'm going to fucking starve to death if I go to sleep right now, is what I thought, you know. And then so I ate a little bit, passed out. And then 2 hours later, I woke up. My dad brought me like 8 donuts, and I cranked those.
Oh, I bet.
No tummy ache, nothing, just annihilated. And then I felt like a human, and then I was like, oh, that's hype. I fucking, you know, I feel good. But then the whole point of that story is like now, like if I go to do anything, like let's say I was nervous about doing this, I'm like, well, is that harder than the fucking hike?
Yeah, that's right.
It's like, no, it's just Jack. No, I'm just like, such a fucking prick. I'm such an asshole. But yeah. So yeah, that's why I do shit. Jake's fucking laughing. But yeah, that's Yeah, it was.
All right, let me take you into some deep fucking waters here.
Yeah. No. What about your childhood, dude?
Fuck you. This is my show. I'm interviewing you. Bitch.
I wanted to fucking bring it into your fucking realm, dude. It's because you started talking to me before this, yo. You brought me into your space. You took control of my mind. Oh, I'm mad now, dude. I'm fucking mad.
There'll
dude.
never be a round 2. You'll never be able to get back at me. Fuck. That's amazing, though. That's really fucking. I mean, that's. I don't even know where to like. It's making me want to go out and do it.
Well, that's one thing I wanted to ask you about. Twice we've talked. And I've brought up traveling, and you've expressed interest, you're like, man, I want to go out there.
Yeah, I very much so resonate with. I very much so resonate with what you're talking about, and I'm about that age of the similar timing of your trip, age wise. But yeah, I everything you said has been deeply resonating. I grew up, and my mom was, her dad was like a freak accident attorney, right, and so. He was always like, okay, this could happen or this could happen. Every possible thing, right? Because it's like, okay, like a tree fell through this person's house and killed them. You're like, holy shit, anything can happen. And so he was surrounded by that. And then she kind of passed that on to me of like, when you're out in the world, fucking anything could happen. Anything, and like fucking fantastic. One of the best mothers in the world to ever exist. But that definitely soaked into me. And I was like, yeah, I'm fucking afraid of everything. And so now, just for the past several years, there's just been seriously concerted effort towards it. And mentally, I've been going there, but I haven't been going there physically. And it's like doing something like that. Yeah, sounds fucking perfect.
Well, it's like that like Socrates shit or whatever he says about like you don't there's something about like you can't know something about not knowing your mind well if your physical body isn't like, or like it's like every man should know what it's like to be in their power, some shit like that, yeah. Some shit like that. But like if you haven't, have you ever like solo traveled like that ever?
Never.
Dude, you would love it, seriously. I could tell, or just the way that you like say it to me, like that, like I don't know, like you just like, if you can make it happen, do it. That's the reason why we're here, in my opinion. Like we're doing all this work in society and whatever and stuff, and it's great and whatever, but like I really think that we're meant to get out into nature and really fuck our shit up, to be honest with you. I like it, or just like you can't. You'll find yourself doing business. You know what I'm saying? In a lot of ways, but there's very unique ways that you find yourself when you're physically pushing your limits out in nature that you just can't find any other way, in my opinion.
And so when you come back into society, into culture, like how are you assimilating to, after doing anything like that, anything that fucking where you start as a different human being and you come out as a totally different person, how do you assimilate back into culture in that way and into the community that you're in?
Oh, dude, the things that overwhelm me, like right now, feel like nothing when I go to do something like that. Like going and like approaching a girl is like or talking to a client or whatever. Like not like those things are like, those are typical things that would probably, those don't usually affect me that much, but like I like most things just feel like nothing. It feels like you're coming to play like a baby game. You know what I mean? It's just like everything's easy. You know what I mean? And then it wears off after a while and you have to go do it again, And that's what's scary, is like going to do it again every time. Because it gets harder every single time. Dude, you have to like, look at me. You have to fucking go and go test yourself out in the fucking wilderness. It is like everything. And actually, well, I don't know about this year, but like, dude, I have to talk to my buddies, but if you ever wanted to come do 14ers with us out in Colorado, dude, you'll fucking find yourself. It is a blast.
Cool.
Because then you don't have oxygen, during it, which is a nice little added layer of extreme, to it. But yeah, I really like, is there any place that like you've always wanted to go to like that?
Fucking anywhere that fucking like makes me not comfortable.
Is there anywhere that like popped into your head when I asked you that? There's no place that like you just like that jumps out of you like, man, that like is the vibe or anything like that?
Nothing.
Really?
Nothing.
No shit.
I always
have a thing. Like I'll ask it. Like you ask your brain shit or whatever. I think it's God that implants the image. But like the last trip I went on last year, like I was like, I always like close my eyes and I'm like, I'm going to find something while I'm out there, and something pops up. And like the last time I was a waterfall, and then I went out and I go, and this is another time, like it's constantly these trips are teaching me that my expectations are bullshit, right? And so I go, and I know I wanted to go to Washington because the trip before I was going to go to Washington, I didn't make it up there given some time constraints, And so I got out there and I found a waterfall, and it was in Washington, and I was like, cool. It wasn't the one I pictured, And then I went and I stood next to it, whatever. It's called Marymere Falls, if anybody wants to check it out. But and I was like, cool, I found my thing, right? And so I wasn't looking anymore, and I was like, okay, I completed the mission. So then I go to Colorado to go hike with my boys, like I do. I always include that in this trip, is I go hike up mountains in Colorado. And so we're staying at this campsite, and close to the campsite was a waterfall, And there's a slot canyon, right? And so like slot canyons, I'm not going to explain this right, but essentially, like if it's raining and you're in a slot canyon, you're dead. Okay. So don't go when it's raining, because you'll get like torn up like with shrapnel from like the water and stuff. Gotcha. And everything. But so we go up and we go through this creek. The water's ice cold, and then we get up in there and we get into the slot canyon. And the waterfall's coming down. And it was the waterfall that I pictured when I asked. So you got to ask your mind something and then just go find it. Don't stop till you find it. You just go, right? But yeah, and then I got out of there and I cold plunged in the fucking river, and then that was it. But like, yeah, like if you ask your mind something about like, I want to go somewhere to like test myself, and you really think about it and you make a picture pop up, I guarantee you it exists. Something's gonna pop up, like, and then you just go find it, and that's it, Or maybe I'm fucking full of shit and I'm crazy. I don't know.
How long does it take? If I close my eyes right now, you think I could?
Well, like, do you ask your mind for answers, right? All the time, Like, do you know it's like the Jordan Peterson kind of thing, where it's like you go and you ask your mind something for an answer, it's going to give it to you.
It's going to give it to you if you sit long enough with it.
So if you go into your head and you go, like I want to, you have to get really, like, I wouldn't suggest doing it around me. I mean, you could try, but it's like, you got to really be not at peace, but like really calm and like sit there and really pose the question to yourself, I do that with a lot of stuff, you know what I mean? And because this thing's like limitless, like it's, like if you really try to utilize it like that, and if you're like at home alone and you're calm and like you got your phone to the side and whatever, and you sit down and you go like, where do I want to go that's going to help me or whatever, like something should pop up. And if not, maybe you're just an NPC, dude. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like maybe I'm just the main character. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like you're just not built different then, That's how you know. That's how you know you're one of those people that can't doesn't have an inner dialogue. So if you want to be one of those NPC inner dialogue non-having people, then
well, what's funny? I haven't talked to you about that because it's funny. The people that Vance was talking about, there's people that just don't have an inner dialogue. They don't have an inner voice that's going on. Like those people are also the people that he's referencing specifically are not NPCs.
There's no way they have to. But
be NPCs. They're hyper intelligent. A little autistic probably, but like they're the opposite of NPCs. They're so far away from being an NPC, like, because it's just like they're like, okay, every decision they do, does this thing make sense or does it not make sense? But I guess that's I don't know, you know what I mean? I guess they have to have an inner dialogue for that. But.
They're just like really awesome NPCs, I guess, dude. Like that's like, how do you not? You can't think. Definitely autistic. Like you can't think. You know what I'm saying? Like that's insane. To say that how do you gain intelligence without thinking? You know what I'm saying? Like without having thoughts. That's fucking insane. Unless they have like thoughts aside from like maybe like there's like this weird like where people are getting a little too specific thing and so it's getting lost in translation.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think that's what's happening.
But like that's like and they're just like, oh yeah, I don't have that, and they do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like if you can't be, how can you be?
I think they have it. I think
think
every single human being has it.
That is crazy.
But they don't know. Yeah, they're getting lost in the specifics.
Yeah.
It makes them because they're autistic probably or something.
Yeah, when I heard that, I thought that was fucking insane. That doesn't make any sense. I'm like, you're not a person. You're not a person.
All right, let me ask you this. We've kind of talked about it, but I feel this will just be a fun question for you. Where are guys messing up in the dating world right now? Or where are they fucking up? Your opinion will be a fun one.
Or do you want to talk about they're jerking off too much? Is that what you want to fucking talk about?
Yeah, whatever you want to talk about.
I mean, we can talk about guys jerking off.
Let's talk about it.
I know you want to talk about that. No, like, I mean, like, guys.
Because you always tell me, you're like, hey, if you, whatever you say what you tell me.
Like, well, like, if you have issues with masturbation, I just think that you're a fucking idiot. To be honest with you, I mean, I'm not gonna like. It's like not to judge, but it's just like that. Like guys right now, there's like this big push to like for guys to be vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
And like, hey, like guys need to be able to voice what's going wrong in their lives, right? It's like, yeah, sure. But like, what does you tell me that you just fucking can't stop jerking off to help you stop jerking off? I can't give you guidance on that. You know? Like, you just stop. How do you get guidance? Give me a step-by-step on how to stop beating your meat. You know what I'm saying? Give me a step-by-step guide. You know? What does fucking vocalizing that do? You know what I mean? It doesn't do anything. That is fucking insane. Men have been fucking conquerors. And now they're like, I can't stop beating my meat, dude. It's ruining my marriage. That is fucking insane. That is crazy, dude. Get your fucking life together. That is fucking nuts, dude. That is that what you
That's great.
No, is that what you were thinking of? Is that
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
That's up there. Yeah.
But yeah, or just like I mean, guys don't fucking
Clip that.
That's a good one to clip, probably. But it's like guys don't like. I mean, they definitely don't go talk to women and stuff too. You know what I mean? Like that's a really hard one for guys.
Yeah.
That's like guys used to come up to me and like all the time at the gym and be like, "How do you talk to like
Yeah,
all these girls?"
Well, when Jake and I think I told you this, when Jake and I, we'd be working out, we'd see you in there talking to every girl, be like, fuck this guy.
You see, and they get jealous because they were scared. You know what I'm saying? They were scared to talk to girls.
That's
Just like everyone.
maybe in there. That might be in there.
That probably, well, no, I'm fucking with you, but it probably is a little bit that.
Probably
it's
in
like,
there
you're
somewhere,
like, fuck
yeah.
that guy. I want to, you know, it's kind of natural male competitiveness.
Yeah.
Like, fuck him. I'm going to go talk to that fucking
They have
chick.
the audacity to do that you know what I mean? We're getting all these messages of, oh, don't approach girls at the gym, and then you're just going out and doing it. I respect it for sure. You know.
Well, that was like the big thing back then. Like when I started doing it, it was always like, don't talk to fucking women at the gym.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck you. Everyone wants to talk to each other. That's not how humans work, you
Right.
fucking stupid motherfuckers. That's what I mean, like the psyops of like people trying to fuck with our psychology and stuff. And it's like, yeah, no, don't talk to me at the gym. It's like, oh, don't talk to me in the fucking environment.
In a public place.
Well,
yeah.
in a public place where we have something in common, like insanely in common, where, you know, like we're going to bond over it. Where else do I talk to you? You know what I mean? Like it's all bullshit. You know what I mean? You got like 1% of the people making the noise, you know? And then I started to talk to women and then they really, in most cases, enjoyed when I was talking to them. And I was like, oh, it's all bullshit. It's all fucking bullshit. So there's that. Guys let other people be their fucking masters and fucking let them fucking tell them that they can't talk to women or else they're going to get fucking their dick cut off or something. I don't fucking know. And then yeah, they can't stop beating their meat. So then, you know, then they're satiated, I guess, so they don't approach women or whatever way jerking off fucks your marriage up. I don't fucking know. It's like, just go have sex with your wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand that. Fucking guys are so confusing to me now. I'm way more critical on men than I am women.
Yeah.
I'll tell her, like, I'm not a woman. I don't know anything about fucking women. What the fuck do I know about women? Besides what I know, I guess. But like it's like guys though, when they're having problems, I go, I know how you're fucking thinking, G. I go, stop.
Yeah.
Like
that's I've had all those fucking thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like beating your meat's a fucking crazy one. It just, all it is your mind goes, I want to jerk off. You just go, no. And then like, he's like, you sure? You go, no, we're not doing this. And that's it. It's not like, it just, and then it ends. You know what I mean? Like, go do something. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, the amount of I can't believe we're talking about this right now. the amount of fucking of shit you have to not have going on to develop a fucking problem with jerking off is crazy. You have to have nothing. Dude, if I wanted to get a masturbation problem right now, dude, I would have to tank my company. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have way too much to do. Like, there's just no way, you know? But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, do you see any other problems? Can you think of anything else? Did I touch on it?
A million, man, a million. Those are the two good ones. I think those are right about. Those are probably two big ones right now that are in it. But you know, this has been great. But this is what I ask everyone at the end, and we'll have to do a part 2. But what I like to ask is, you know, what is the most important thing for young people to be paying attention to right now?
They need to stop paying attention to shit, to be honest with you. I feel like so much of the information right now is such bullshit, just dog water. And just like find people in your life that you're like at least somewhat envious of their experience and then talk to them and ask them what you should do. And don't listen to your fucking phone sometimes. Or if you're going to do it, at least be aware, and like be aware that some people are going to be wrong and some people are going to be right. Not everything you're told is correct.
Yes. Have discernment.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
Please.
I mean, because I've fallen into that trap too of like, oh, this guy seems even Jordan Peterson, right? Jordan Peterson doesn't have all the fucking answers. I really like Jordan Peterson. Doesn't have all the fucking answers.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, when you get into your personal development journey, it's really easy just to believe everything you're told.
Yep.
Because you don't know shit. But so you have discernment. Everyone has that, dude. I swear. Or maybe I was blessed. I mean, I definitely was. But like, I just like.
You have to have the courage to have discernment in a way.
That's true.
You have to have the courage to be willing to be wrong and just be a fucking idiot and accept that we're all fucking dumbasses.
Yeah, we talked about that the other day. I was thinking the same thing, dude. I fucking love you. That's like that's the other side of this where it's like the basis of genius is admitting to your own idiocy.
Yep.
That is the basis of genius.
This is whose quote is it? The more you learn, the more you realize how little you know.
Yeah.
Have you heard that one?
Yeah,
I'm sure you have.
I would say for young people, it's just fucking listen correctly and retain what you're supposed to, and always be thinking about what people's fucking motivations are behind what they're saying to you and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you have to question everything. You can never let your mind get into this point where it's complacent ever. And that's fucking terrifying to the fucking mind because it wants to label things as always this.
Yes.
Then you don't have to think about it. But the truth is you have to think about fucking everything, even your own thoughts, everything.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's what I would say. Yeah.
Fucking right, man. Fuck yeah, Tommy.
Good talking to you.
Thanks for coming on, brother.